Our conversation this evening with Dr. Reverend Stephen Mairori, NACADA chairperson, is joining us online. Thank you so much for making time for us, Daktari. What solutions are you now deploying that is new as NACADA? Because this is a menace that has been dealt with for quite some time, but there seems to be very little progress being made, especially in the central Kenya region.
Again, it's sad to see, what we've all seen. But we want to say that as NACADA, we are taking a newer approach. And the approach we want to engage in more seriously is to work very closely with the county governments and with the public in general. Umbija, the truth is, it's all of us together that we can win this war. We know exactly where these things are being brewed. We know who are responsible. And so if the general public can collaborate and work very closely with the national administration and with the county administration, I believe we will win this war together. Because we have a country that we want everyone to succeed, and it will take all of us to do that.
Doctor, is it about the dens where this illicit brew is being brewed, or is it the people partaking? Where should the focus really be? Because even if the dens keep sprouting and there needs to be new bars and just ingenious ways of selling to the people.
It's more about the dens for sure. The truth is, if those people who are doing this business need to be helped to see there are other businesses that they can do and succeed in life. They shouldn't be involved in things, in businesses that are killing people, destroying families. I remember one time we went to Elgeyo Marakwet, and the county commissioner, not the county commissioner, but the governor there was very cooperative. Then we worked on a plan where people who are involved in this business would leave, and then they would be helped to do other businesses. And it was a great success. So I want to challenge those who are involved in this business to say, for sure, let's not kill Kenyans. This is not right. It's not good for our families. It's not good for our nation. There are other businesses that you can do well. And if you have to be involved in this business, it has to meet the national standards.
But Dr. Even if you cut down the supply and the demand is still constant, they'll still find other drinks, right?
Yeah, for NACADA, it's a two-way approach. We have the supply suppression, which, again, that we work with the law enforcement to see that that is cut. And then we have the demand reduction. That part, we are working again with the county governments. We had a very good engagement recently under the leadership of the president and the deputy president, and he brought all the governors together. And our CEO and the NACADA team presented the proposal of what they would like to see. There is a lot of goodwill from the governors right now. I think earlier the county governments were just, they thought this is not their responsibility, or somebody else will do it. But now they realize that this is their county. Their priority is to see that their people are healthy. And so together with the national government, we can all engage in the fight and win the war.
Yeah, but Dr. Mairori, how will this be different considering you've tried many times and it seems not to be working? What is going to be so different this time?
Yeah, let me say this, Trevor. I think one of the approaches that I think will be a game changer is the idea of, when the responsibility of licensing was taken to the counties. These are now, when devolution came, I think the county governments did not understand that you've got to build a team that is one government team. So they would, for example, some of the county governments would have somebody running the business of alcohol be the chairman of licensing. And they would have a team there that are only interested in revenue. So they would allow these bars everywhere. You go to a very small center, which has very few people, you would only find probably one restaurant and 10 bars. Now, the proposal that we have on the table is, it is going to be a one government approach where the licensing, legal licensing, both in the counties, will have both the national government and the county governments. That way, you have people from health, you have the police, you have the county governments, you have NACADA involved. In that approach, then you are able to vet and see that you have the right need. For those ones that are running the dens like we saw, the president has spoken, and he has spoken very clearly. The deputy president has spoken and has spoken very clearly. We have the goodwill of the leadership of the country, and I'm very sure the police and the Ngao, the national government leaders have heard that clearly. This is going to be enforced so that we've got to win the war. There's just no other shortcut.
Yeah, but Dr. this is not just a central Kenya problem, right? I saw some statistics sometimes back that the menace is increasing even in the western region. Is that what you found on the ground as well?
We'll be releasing the report soon, and I think the leading is western right now, and I think central comes around number 3. But the difference in central is that I think the poison levels are very high. The people who do the concoctions, it's very bad for human consumption in central, to say the least. In western, we have the normal, I think, Busa and Changa, but the poison levels are not very high. But you are right. Western is now leading, Western is leading, yes.
I have a tweet here from one engineer Lazaro online, and he says the large number of youths around the nation are jobless and idle, not only in Mount Kenya. Government should woo investors by lowering cost of doing business. Is this a matter of people being idle? Is that the reason why they engage in alcohol abuse?
That could be one of the reasons, and I think my encouragement to the young people is, while that is a challenge that we do have nationally, our hope is that the government has now rolled a plan where you can take some money, you can borrow loan and engage in businesses. Please let's take advantage of this. Get involved in groups that would add value to your life. But I do agree that when young people are bored, they don't know what to do, this becomes a very easy way to follow.
You had mentioned earlier on a multi-sectoral approach of ensuring that the bars numbers are limited in that region. There's another tweet here from Davis Devi, who says, he's watching live from Juja, JKUAT Gate C, let them just levy extra heavy tax on them. They'll fear as long as they adhere to the rules and regulations on breweries. Is this one of the strategies to increase taxes, or will that be counterproductive because then they'll go back to the drinks that you're saying have high poison levels?
Yeah, actually, Trevor, our biggest challenge is not the regulated ones. Those that have, regulated and are selling in the right places, and, they don't sell poison to the people. Those can be managed and controlled. I think the biggest challenge, as we've said earlier, these illegal, illicit brews that are sprouting everywhere, and also the wines and spirits, which, again, the law is very clear. We've made it very clear to the law enforcement. The hours for the bars to be open is from 5 in the evening. We want to be a nation that is working, not a drinking nation, whereby early in the morning the bars are opened. And even the wines and spirits places, you would find them opened very early in the morning. That is illegal. It's not right. People should work up to 5, and then once they are open, they should be able to close by 11 at night. And so that is going to be enforced, and we hope and we are asking for compliance.
So this enforcement of opening bars from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., where will this be and how will it be rolled out? Will it be across the nation or in specific places?
It's going to be across the nation. That is going to be across the nation.
And how will you distinguish? Because there are some bars that are also restaurants at the same time.
That's a conversation that we're having with those that have restaurants, and I believe when we roll out, it will all be aligned, because really some people have gotten into this trick where they open in the name of a restaurant, but really what they want to do is to sell beer. That is not right as well. So we're working on that.
When will this be implemented?
Soon. What I can tell you is very, very, very soon. The law is in force. It's just a question of we're working out logistics, and it will be enforced soon.
So, Blessed Nosh here on Twitter says, my opinion pertaining the topic is to curb alcohol abuse menace is simply by educating and enlightening the masses on the dangers of abusing alcohol and other drugs. This should be done by the government in collaboration with the NGOs. Is civic education working from your perspective? Because NACADA has been at this for the longest time.
Yes, we've done, and we continue to do. I do believe that is one of the ways of helping in demand reduction. We actually have rolled out, if you see now, all the teachers that are being trained in our primary school and secondary school teachers go through the curriculum. We have books that we are using in schools to educate, to help our young people. We also go out, like last week we had a team in Kisumu training the civil society, the groups that help us. And so we are rolling out and we'll continue doing that. So I agree with the person that education is, public education is a good strategy. It's only that it takes time, and we want to continue with it.
David Bett is asking, do we have a standard penalty for these illicit brewers? Because culprits seem to be doing it with some confidence. Should the penalties be a bit more punitive?
Yeah, I do agree with him. I think we need to have more punitive penalties, and this is, again, something we are looking at, because when people feel they can go pay a small fine and go away, that doesn't help. We'll look at that entire thing. The other part, which I want to encourage our policemen, many of them are doing a great job, but we have a few that probably collaborate with these people so that once they are arrested, they are released quickly. We want to tell all our officers, we all have children. This is a country we love. We want to have a country of healthy people. We want to have a working nation. Please, let's all help. This is a war that we must win. And the police, the public, the Ngao, all the government officers, please, let's do. NACADA is approaching a multi-sectoral approach where we have KRA involved, we have KEPS, we have, we have the police, we have the county commissioners and their team. So we want all of us to work together to win this war.
How are you going to deal with the traditions that somehow are retrogressive? Because I see here Mosiwa Kanyiri says we are losing a generation. This problem has been amplified by obnoxious cultural practices that are glorifying the use of traditional brew or muratina. It is time the elders discourage all forms of alcohol. And we've seen this even in circumcision, in the initiation cultural practices, where elders somehow inadvertently glorify the use of this alcohol.
Yeah, we want to encourage our elders and invite them to help us to be, champions of fighting the abuse. I do know in some cultural circumstances, there is a process actually that they have to go through in terms of applying so that there is finally a license is given for that, for the purpose of protecting the consumers. But we want to encourage, times have changed, and please, let's protect our people.
This multi-sectoral approach that you're talking about, and the people are talking about the police having been involved and letting go of the people with a slap on the wrist. Gangster here, Rona, says the original Mutudo alcohol laws were meant to ensure moderate use of the drink after work. Nowadays, police use it to collect bribes. Is that the weakest link from where you stand?
At the moment, I think that's the challenge, and we are working. As I said, many of the police officers are doing a good job. We have a few that have messed us in that way, and so we are working with the entire establishment to see that is dealt with.
As we wind up on this conversation, Dr. Mairori, what is your pledge to the people of Kenya who are watching you as an NACADA chair? How do you intend to deal with this, and at what point, in your own words?
I want to tell Kenyans we have a new chapter. Our president has come out very, very, very clear on this. Our deputy president has come out very clear. The Ministry of Interior has prioritized this among the three key things, including, terrorism. We have fighting alcohol abuse is a key thing that the ministry is going to invest in and fight. So we have an opportunity where I'm asking all Kenyans that please let's come together, let's share information, but also let's fight it. Let's give it our all, in the sense that if you do as a community realize that this is our problem, these are the places where these things are being brewed, do not just say it's somebody else to deal with it. Take the challenge, talk to your chief, talk to the police there, so that together we can win. I'm also inviting the religious leaders, and the civic society, that we all join hands. Our community, like Kijabe said, no, we don't want alcohol in our place. And they have succeeded for many, many years. So we can, as a community in a place, decide and say, our area has to be clean of these things. And you will have the support of the government. Our board just met, for the first time recently, our new board, and we are committed to this. Just reach to us and we'll work together to win this war. And as I said, Umbija, this war must be won, and together as Kenyans, we can win.
Dr. Mairori, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Dr. Reverend Stephen Mairori Nakada, chairperson, speaking to us in regards of the staggering mountain. That's a conversation we had earlier on by a very